what is the weather like where you guys are?
It's unseasonably hot.
It is like 20 degrees. We have a winter storm warning.
Yeah, we have flooding and storms and all that stuff too. We've had more rainfall this year than we've had probably in over 10 years.
Oh, wait, didn't I hear that, like, there's some a polar vortex or something headed for you guys tomorrow and Saturday?
Yeah.
It's supposed to, like, notice because I've been outside most of the... Yeah. Weather has been crazy.
Yeah, can't wait to hear what you guys have been up to.
Are we broadcasting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are broadcasting. Because we are a broadcast channel. So I don't even really hear that term much anymore, broadcast.
Thank you for joining us.
I was listening to the radio on the way back home, so that's why I think I had that particular word stuck in my head.
All right. I think I'm ready when you guys are.
Okay.
Ready.
Yep. Ready, Freddy. What's up, Internet? You are listening to the Making Geeks podcast, a podcast for makers, families, and geeks.
That's me.
I think we've said that about 293 times at this point.
Yeah, or some variation thereof. Yep.
If we have any devoted fans out there that want to do like a super cut of like all the different intros, that'd be kind of, cool to hear.
That would be totally rad for our show.
Because listeners always respond well to being given homework. I know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just like my students.
Well, with all this time we have on our hands.
Oh, yeah.
Got to do something with it.
Well, it's been a while. This is the first time we've recorded this month, I think.
Maybe.
Second? Maybe. I don't remember.
Second. Yeah.
We didn't record for the past 2 weeks, so it's been a little while. It's not very often we have 2 weeks off in a row, but some stuff came up, some traveling and other things, so we're back. I'm curious though, because we haven't talked a whole lot over the last 2 weeks. I mean, usually we'll go back and forth in Discord, but it's been pretty quiet. So I have no idea what you guys have been up to. Donovan's down in Texas for some reason. Wes, actually, I have no idea what you've been up to.
Me neither. I was hoping you guys could fill me in. It's been a blur.
Donovan's burnt on his face in the middle of winter. I'm not really sure what that's all about. So Donovan, what were you doing down in Texas?
So Jess from Crow Creek Designs, who I do video editing for, put an announcement out on social media that she was going to be down in Denton, Texas, painting a mural for a business down there, and was asking for locals to come and help. And I messaged her and I said, well, I'm not exactly local, but I'm not exactly too far away to come down and help, and if you need help. And so over the weekend, the family and I loaded up in the car, went down to Texas together, and helped paint these murals. It wasn't just one mural. It was a plant factory where you go and buy ficuses and junipers and flowers and grass and bulbs and stuff like that. Wanted murals painted on the outside of their building. And so Jess got sponsors from like the Home Depot and Sherwin-Williams and things like that to make a video painting this series of murals on this building, and all the paint got donated for free and stuff like that. And so Krylon was the other one. Krylon. And so she was enlisting help of anybody that was down in the area. And so we made a weekend of it as a family. Went down there, painted orchids and butterflies and honeybees, and repainted one of the buildings blue, like bright bright blue, so now you can see it coming off any exit by the freeway where this business is. It was super fun. But we left, and then the day after she messaged and she's like, can you come help again? And so the last 2 days I've been back down in Denton, just roasting one day because it was 80 degrees, and then freezing the next day because it was 20 degrees, painting, finishing up all the painting on the sign. They're having a big reveal party and shindig at this plant factory this Saturday. I'm not going to be there for it.
So is it a plant that, and also a factory, or do they grow plants in the factory, or they manufacture the plants in the factory? What kind of plants are these that require a factory? That's my question.
Yeah, it's good. It's good marketing on their part because it gets people talking about what it
is. It
exactly
actually called
is.
The Plant Factory?
Yeah, it's called
Okay.
The Plant Factory.
Okay.
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
Okay. I was just curious. I was a little confused. I'm looking forward to it. That sounds cool.
Yeah. TPF.
Are they real plants or are they plastic plants?
No, they're real plants.
Okay.
So my daughter brought home a bonsai tree starter kit and a few other plants because she had to get something, because we are back here at home. One of the projects that we are working on right now is building a greenhouse on the side of our house, because I want to do a Raspberry Pi solar powered self-watering greenhouse. And so we're in the process of building the greenhouse on the side of the house, and she wanted plants to put in the greenhouse, so she got plants. That's one of the things I've been up to the last couple of weeks. What about you guys?
I have been, let's see, this last weekend I was camping in a cabin in the mountains of North Carolina with 3 of my buddies. We have this annual kind of cold weather camp out thing. It started in a tent, and over the course of the 9 years we've been doing it, it's slowly evolved into like, we were roughing it, and then there's a point where we had so much inclement weather in a row, they were like, man, I don't want to do this rain crap again. Like, we had to like string up tarps and all this. There's fun, but let's just take it easy this time and get a cabin. And we should not have done that, because once you go cabin, you can't go back, apparently.
Now you're glamping?
Oh, dude, yeah. We're like taking like TVs or a single TV, and every year it's getting bigger. Hooking up a Switch to it. We had the Wii U hooked up to it. We were playing like party games, and we had like board games and steak and food, and it was a good time. We had limited internet access. We had just enough where we could like start like messing around with like a chat GPT a little bit and kind of goofing off to see what kind of crazy crap we can get it to come up with. It was a lot of fun, and we were trying to like out logic it and trick it into doing things it wasn't supposed to be able to do, and it was just kind of interesting. What else?
There's one Reddit thread that I read where somebody figured out how to prompt it to come up with the prompts to prompt itself with prompts. So using Chat GP to come up with prompts for Chat GPT that then prompt, like, I was like, wow, people are really taking this and running with it like crazy.
Yeah, I tried to reverse the script and ask it if there was anything it wanted to ask me, and it started asking me all kinds of stuff. It was pretty funny. Yeah, it was like, so tell me about yourself, and what kind of stuff you like to do. And I started going into it, and it's remarkably good for what it is, and I think it's come up with some code I'm going to try to use for a project that I was a little bit stumped on, and we'll see how that works. Some Python, Raspberry Pi, like machine learning stuff. And it seemed to generate it, and it's like, yeah, no problem, here you go. And it's like explains all the stuff. It like comments each bit of code, and then it afterwards explains all the comments in like more verbose version. And then you can like get them to like reiterate on different things, or if you wanted to tweak something a little bit. Yeah, I told it to. So I have this project. I want to like have a webcam in my car, basically, and have it look at the lane lines, and I'll have like a Raspberry Pi, like, and feeding it to like a little screen in the dash, like where like the media console kind of area would be, or normally my radio would be, but I've taken it out for tinkering and weird experimental stuff. And so basically, I wanted to like analyze lane lines, like a lot of the modern cars have, where they sort of superimpose, the lane like graphics on top of the lanes, or like when you flip on your backup camera, how you have like the kind of arcing, curvy lines that like adjust and like superimpose over the image. So there's some scripts out there where you can do some of this, but I wanted to like edit it a little bit. That's beyond my capability as a non-programmer, like I am. And so I wanted to track the lines and then superimpose lines on top of them, like in the correct perspective, and then eventually getting to a display that resembles the targeting computer from Luke Skywalker's X-Wing when he's flying the Death Star trench run, with the lines, the yellowish green lines and all that stuff. And I described it in just English to Chat GPT. I'm like, generate a Python script that runs on Raspberry Pi that takes the input from a webcam and detects lane lines and superimposes lines in such a way it looks like Luke's targeting computer. And it understood that, and it even like knew what color I wanted them. And it was interesting. And like, oh no, I want some vertical lines as well. It's like, oh, you want the vertical lines to look like in a trench. I'm like, yes. It's just, if it were, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. And luckily, I'm not going to use it for anything like super important, like that my life is going to be dependent on this working while I'm in a car. It's not like that mission critical, but it's interesting. A lot of cool implications.
Or you can have a function where you can actually do like two laser shots that kind of go down.
Goes in the toilet, yeah.
Or maybe every time you honk the horn, that's what happens.
There you go. That'd be cool. Shoot into the vent.
Yep.
I hope you have Raspberry Pis on hand because I've been trying to find some and they are very hard to come by right now.
I have like a handful of mini ones. I've got one right here actually. These zeros, and then I have a 4, and I think I have like 1 Raspberry Pi 4 and 3 Raspberry Pi 3s, I think. So it should be enough to tinker. I don't know if I'm able to get rid of some of them, but maybe I can.
I still have 2 boards I won from Maker Faire years ago that I've never used. They're not Raspberry Pis. They're a different one called a Dragon board. Basically, it's a different processor on it. I've never known what to do with it, but I still have them. Maybe I'll give them away or something. I don't know. Last 2 weeks, I don't really think I've done much of anything. It feels like there's been almost a different event every night of the week for work or for my kids or that my wife is helping with. So the last 2 weeks are really a blur. It's a chaotic time of year for work. And because my kids go to the school in the same district, and my wife is PTA for, seems like every school, and then I have my responsibilities for my work. It doesn't feel like I'm able to get away from work right now. So I'm looking forward to, I don't know. I'm looking forward to summer is what I'm looking forward to. 12 weeks. I have 12 weeks left of work, and then I have summer. So I feel
Don't you have enough PTO that you could like take those 12 weeks off and summer?
Technically, yeah, but I'm waiting for when I retire.
Yeah.
Because I have like 3 months of vacation saved up, or like sick time saved up, and my sick time rolls over every year, so it just compounds.
Does it not just feel like you just got back into school?
No.
No, to me it feels like summer just ended.
No. When you work as a teacher, no.
Yeah, I feel you.
I mean, you figure I started, the second or third week of August, so it's felt like a while already, plus all the extra stuff. So, yeah, feeling tired.
California is not one of those places right now that are doing the book scanning banning thing, are they?
No, we don't ban books. No.
Okay.
No. Nope. Those are states of a different color.
I don't have much of a finger on the pulse of news lately, but that was one of the things that I heard. Like,
It's a weird thing, anyways. I mean, what kids are reading those books, anyways? I mean, teachers might try assigning them, but nobody's actually reading them.
Right.
It's actually part of my thesis for my master's when I wrote it years ago. But maybe that's a conversation for another time.
Indeed.
did you write a thesis in college, Wes?
No, my no, I didn't have anything that required that. I had a demo. So I went to college for computer animation and like video game related development stuff. So I had to create like a demo reel and
Oh,
like video content, basically video game content.
yeah. A few weeks ago, I came across a thesis I wrote for my Chinese linguistics course, and I was like, "Wow, I can't believe I wrote this." And in Chinese, no doubt. Can't much read it at the moment, but that's okay. I also realized that it's like as busy as this month has been, it seems like the next couple months are going to be even busier. Are you guys getting busier, or are things starting to slow down?
It it feels
Let's
like
go ahead.
like anytime someone I want to do something, like I'm looking at the calendar and like, oh, that weekend's booked. Oh, that weekend's booked, and it's just like filling up faster than I'm willing to accept, and faster than I remember it filling up in the past too, which is weird.
I think I think it's part of just life right now. Um, I don't know if anybody has similar experience, but when my kids were younger, it seems like we had a lot more free time in a way, but we didn't have the kids involved in a whole lot of activities. I mean, the kids did gymnastics for a little while. My son did baseball for a couple of years, but all that seemed kind of passive. It wasn't really that time intensive. But as the kids are getting older now, they're getting into more things. My son's taking 3 different classes, or is doing jujitsu and like MMA stuff 3 days a week. My daughter's doing dance 2 days a week, and all the stuff that my wife is involved with, which is too much, which I keep telling her, but she wants to keep doing it. The business stuff with all the orders we've completed. We just completed a 600-piece order for a school, and then all of my stuff that I'm trying to cut back on, but there's still stuff that I'm responsible for. So I think it's just life right now, and it's going to be that way probably for the next 4 or 5 years for me at least.
Hmm.
Until
Yeah,
my son gets out of high school.
One thing that my wife and I decided when our kids first got into school, we're like, okay, they get to choose one activity, like one extracurricular. It's a sport, if it's a thing, if it's basketball or soccer, ballet, gymnastics, like whatever it is, you get one thing. Because we realize it's like some of the families that we know with kids, just they're never home. Like every night, every day, every week, like they're playing transport because they got to go to this and they got to go to this, and we're like, we don't want to live like that.
Well, that's one activity times 3 for you though, right? Or do they or do they all have to do the same activity?
No, they don't have to do all the same activity, but we have told them.
So you've multiplied that for yourself.
Yeah. That's not to say that they'll want to do an activity. I mean, there have been periods when both of them are like, no, I don't want to do anything right now. And we're like, cool.
Well, we
great.
make our kids do something because they actually need to do something outside the house. I would prefer that they only do it, with regards to school because it's a little bit more better on the convenience factor. But it's harder for us too because we don't live by the school the kids go to. We live 25 miles away. So travel time and all that doesn't help.
Yeah.
Your kids are involved in swim and scouts now, right, Wes?
Yeah. My son is doing Cub Scouts. This is his first year doing it, and then in the summers, both kids have done swimming as long as I can remember. Like Grant, he was doing swimming since he was like 4 years old, 3 or 4 years old, and Samantha as well. And she just turned 12, so yeah, she's been doing it for a while. She did have year-round swimming last year. That was pretty intense. So and it was literally intense sometimes during the winter. We have a heated pool that we have access to, so they had to keep the heat in sometimes. And she did piano. So we've dabbled with different things. She's doing dance now, so yeah, we don't have the restriction of just one extracurricular right now, but usually it kind of comes and goes. It's usually one at any given time, because since swimming is now just limited to the summer. So
yeah, we don't necessarily have that limit either. It's more of our limit is time and availability more than anything else. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting attacked. I've been gone a couple days, so they're like,
So our topic that we were going to speak about tonight, among catching up, was laughter and fun and other more positive things. So we could spend an hour talking about secret Chinese weather balloons or UFOs, which could make people happy, I suppose. But Donovan had a good suggestion. He got like a good, nice laugh, hearty laugh over something recently that he was talking about. And I'm speaking for him because he has like every member of his family like dogpiling him right now on camera.
It's like one of those scenes from like a 90s family sitcom.
It is. Step by step. It's like the intro where they're like...
Remember Step by Step?
Yeah, all the people like freeze to the camera when it says like their name. Like, yeah. Need a nice little jingle. Step by Step. They should.
the crying in the background.
Why don't they have all the TGI shows on Disney Plus? They should have all of those since they're all ABC.
They should bring those back. A lot of those were actually pretty good.
Yeah. So,
I mean, my family had been watching Family Matters.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And I think I appreciate it even more right now as an adult, watching those shows with my kids and some of the really good messages that we've actually sat down and talked to our kids about. It's been pretty good. If anybody has a HBO Max, the whole series is there.
Oh, that's weird. Huh.
Yeah, I know.
I'll have to put that on my list because there's so much stuff on HBO Max that I don't even know how to find it all right now.
Their interface is not the greatest.
No, it's not.
No.
And it's based on like what it's recommending you. It's like, what if I want to look for something specific? Like, how do I find it? I'm not complaining. My wife and I have been watching The Last of Us, and that show's been awesome and fun to watch with my wife because my wife does not do scary at all. And so she's like, fast forward. Okay, nope, let's back up. What did he say? Okay, fast forward. It's fun watching stuff like that with my wife because of all the bouncing around that we have to do and then piecing the story together through the action scenes. Was I supposed to set something up? I'm sorry. I got it.
So
I got
tell us what
inundated.
you were laughing about so much. If it does translate into a story mechanic, you're trying to fill Sean in about how it was funny, and he didn't seem to really get it. And I thought it was okay, but maybe you can elevate it a little more.
Well, it's. I guess you have to understand Zelda, Legend of Breath of the Wild specifically, and the mechanics of the game, because there's this one mechanic called stasis, where you can freeze something and then hit it so that it builds up momentum in a particular direction, and then when the mechanic unfreezes, all that momentum goes in that direction. Did he intentionally leave the second I started?
I don't know. He's got to do something. So on camera, like he didn't get the joke, right? And so as soon as Donovan started talking, I think he has to like take care of something with his family, or I'm not sure what he's doing, but he immediately took the headset off and just like walked off frame. So it's like I'm not listening to this, and it just like really made me laugh. He's back now. He's claiming that wasn't the situation at all, but I'm not buying it.
I had to blow my nose really bad. I'm sorry, guys. I sneezed and everything just went like.
So
right,
okay, so you have
to
to understand that mechanic in the game, stasis. And then you also have to understand that in the game there are people that you interact with, like travelers and merchants and just people that populate this world within the game. And some of those people are ninjas disguised as regular people, Yiga ninjas from the Yiga clan. And if you interact with them, they like then pop out of their costume or their disguise or whatever, and you have to battle with them. You have to fight with them. Some of them are really hard, some of them aren't. But there was this video on TikTok of a guy stasising a boulder and then powering it up, and right when the boulder was about to let loose, he interacts with this person that's standing by the boulder,
which freezes
knowing
time
that it's
in the environment.
Freezes time in the environment, and so he interacts with this person. Turns out it's a Yiga, and so the Yiga pops out of their disguise, and they're ready to battle. And the like right when they're ready to battle, this boulder that had all this like momentum built up just slams into him and like throws him off screen, and his weapon just spins for a second, and then falls to the ground. I don't know why, but I watched that and I laughed so stupid hard. I was crying. I couldn't see. I was laughing so hard. And so I'm like, you know what, it'd be fun to talk about, like what makes you laugh? What has been making you laugh like lately? What kinds of things have you seen? Like, is there stories? That kinds of things. So that's what I proposed, with the basis of that video, because oh my gosh, I have not laughed that hard in a while. It's been a while. But it
was anyone else in the room when you were doing this?
Laughing?
Yeah.
No. And I recorded myself on Instagram stories. I can share them with you later. But I was trying to explain why this clip was so funny in Instagram stories, and I just couldn't get it out. It reminded me of that one game that we played here where one of the questions was about March of the Penguins. It was 1-star reviews. It was the game that we were playing here on the podcast called 1-star reviews, where I read 1-star reviews and you had to guess which movie it was from. And the 1-star review was like, which penguin was Morgan Freeman? Because it was March of the Penguins. And I remember when we were playing that game, I was laughing so hard I couldn't even read the question. I don't know why that particular question was like so funny to me at that time. But that was another moment where I was like, man, I was crying. I couldn't see straight. I couldn't finish my sentences just because of how much I was laughing at that.
And those circumstances are so rare, which I guess is why they're so awesome. The things where you just have like that uncontrollable, like deep belly laugh that just totally derails any normal thought. And it is sort of like lightning in a bottle. Like you can't recreate it or retell it or quite grasp the intensity of it, I find. So it's sort of hard to describe sometimes. Like I had a similar instance this weekend when I was on that camp out, and so we were just like goofing around, messing with each other, like ribbing on each other. And not that it's something you joke about, but one guy just happened to be gluten intolerant, so we kept like smashing him with different like jokes and things, not in an insensitive way. He was willing to be the brunt of the joke, or is that the right term? To just have a lighthearted fun, over the situation. And so we had happened to be using Chat GPT a lot, so I wanted it to tell a knock-knock joke about gluten intolerance. I mean, that's completely a rational thing. And I laughed really hard about this. I don't know if it'll translate, but I'll try. In this retelling. So I said, tell me knock-knock. I said, what about a knock-knock joke about gluten intolerance? And Chat GPT says, sure, here's a knock-knock joke about gluten intolerance. Knock-knock. Who's there? Wheat. Wheat who? Wheat out. I heard you have gluten intolerance. Like, what? I don't know. And for some reason, that joke, it seems like something a robot would say because it makes no sense. And it's sort of like almost like a 5-year-old telling a joke of something that they think is like the funniest thing in their mind, but it just doesn't come across. And that's the inability to tell a proper joke like Data would do, like on Enterprise, that made it way funnier. And then I said, I responded in Chat GPT, that was a terrible punchline. Please try again. And it says, oh, I'm sorry. I apologize for the unsatisfactory punchline. Here's another attempt. Knock, knock. Who's there? Glue. Glue who? Gluten-free cookies for me, please. I'm gluten intolerant. I was just like, seriously. And it just like had me on the floor laughing, and everybody just was laughing so hard. And it's not that funny. It just happened to hit us in the right way that is sort of hard to describe. And it's maybe because of the rarity is what makes it special. I don't know. But it's definitely great when it happens.
So as you're saying that, I asked ChatGPT to create a knock knock joke about geeks.
Mm-hmm.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Who's there?
Alpaca.
Alpaca who?
Alpaca the laptop because I'm a geek and I need to code all day.
See, it's like a 5-year-old telling a joke. Like you see the mechanics there a little bit, but it's just it's so
I
dry.
can appreciate the attempt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. 5-year-olds. One of my kids was like, "Why did the chicken cross the road?"
Why?
I was like, "I don't know. Why did the chicken cross the road?" Because
I heard that recently.
Good. That's pretty good.
I was like, "That is good. That is very good."
It was on a TikTok video that was making its way around. It had
really?
There's a little 3-year-old that did it in a really high pitch, and it made me crack up really hard. I'm sitting at work, and I'm teaching, I'm animating, I'm modeling for the students, and my phone keeps going off with my wife sending me 30 video links from like Instagram Reels or whatever it is, and she comes across videos all day long. She sends me all these things, and I can't remember any of them because I'm looking at so many of them every day that she's sending me, so I'm not retaining anything that I'm watching at this point. But I do remember that one. That one could have stood out.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah. My daughter and a friend did a talent show together years ago. It was actually during the pandemic. So they had to do this remote talent show thing and record. And they did it like they were on a ride at Disneyland with like the background behind them. And there's telling jokes back and forth. And some of the jokes my daughter came up with or came across, I don't think she invented them, kind of always made me laugh. And I think one was, how'd it go? What goes, ha, 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 plop?
I don't know. What goes ha, 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 plop?
I don't know.
Me laughing my head off. But... Oh. Hearing a 9-year-old girl tell it in her deadpan voice is a lot better than me trying to recreate it. Especially my nasally cold right now.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've been doing on social media lately. I came across this. It was like half of my recommended feed for social media anyway is either like Lord of the Rings or Legend of Zelda or whatever. And there was one that was a Legend of Zelda joke, and I was like, that's kind of funny. And so I made a video of it, not thinking anything of it. But then I started looking up more Legend of Zelda jokes, and there's a lot out there. So I'm like, you know what? For no reason whatsoever, like there's no point to all of this. I'm just gonna recreate Legend of Zelda jokes for social media. And holy crap, like the reception for my stupid little 15-second Legend of Zelda jokes has been more than I would have thought.
Oh, okay, but wait. Do not leave out the biggest part, where you are playing a dual role in these shorts, and one of the roles is dressed up as a giant
Link.
elf. Well, I know you're supposed to be Link, but
yeah,
it reminds me more like Buddy the Elf than anything else. And I have a feeling that those are going to catch on, and they're going to start showing up in everybody's feeds.
I should play. Like, I've only done, 4 or 5 of them so far. I still don't know how to play it off. The timing, like the one that I did this morning.
You're getting better.
The one that I did this morning was not great because it was like all on my phone, and like the cutting and editing was because I was locked out of my computer. Anyway, and so like I'm still trying to figure out how to like play with it. But I'm like, I don't think this will become like a thing, but it's
I do.
fun. It's fun. They're stupid funny. They're stupid jokes. Some of these Legend of Zelda jokes, I'm like, one, you have to know what stasis is, and you have to know what the Yiga are to like laugh as hard as I did at a video. Like, the one joke that I did about triple the like why is Star Wars better than Legend? No, why is Legend of Zelda better than Star Wars? Because it has triple the force. I got comments that is like, I don't get it. And I'm like, okay, if I have to explain it, then it loses. The punchline is just not there anymore if I have to explain it. But it was my attempts to just be funny.
Yeah,
for no other reason.
I think your abrupt editing actually plays into it better. Yeah. I think one of them you almost like cut the other guy off, and it made it funnier that you did that. I don't know if you did that on purpose or not, but I thought it was way funnier because you didn't even let him like fully have a response because he was like so giddy about getting the joke out he couldn't contain himself.
Oh,
and I think it made it better. Did you do that on purpose?
Link.
Was that on purpose?
Kind of.
Yeah, okay.
Since everything has to be 15 seconds or less, like I have to figure out like what to cut down.
Yeah.
And since I can't cut down the setup and the punchline, I have to cut down on my other guy's response, and so that's why I think it's cut funny. Into that.
Yeah. I also like how you use the "Hey, listen" as the thing now. Like it seemed like you wanted to do that at the beginning, but you didn't stick to it in the first couple. And then I was like, "Hey, dude, you got to do the "Hey, listen" thing, man," because that's like the tagline.
You're like, "That's a missed opportunity right there."
Yeah.
It was like,
Are you posting on YouTube Shorts too?
Yeah.
And TikTok?
Yep.
Which one? Which audience is more receptive to it?
YouTube.
Huh. Interesting.
Since my Once Upon a Workbench channel is new and it's feeding into the algorithm, and I only have like 300 subscribers, I was like, the only way that I'm going to reach a new audience is to create shorts. And so that was one of the reasons why I started doing this, because it's like I just need content. But then I was like, I just want silly content. It could be applicable adjacent. It could be my projects adjacent. And so that's why I started doing them. But yeah, the YouTube reception has been great. TikTok, holy cow. Like, I've got so many followers on TikTok now. I don't know what to do with. Instagram, it's the same audience. Like, my Instagram hasn't grown in a long time, but yeah, TikTok and YouTube is where I'm getting a lot of reactions from.
So, did you just happen to have that costume around, or is that a recent purchase?
So,
I could picture Donovan's closet where he has all these different things, kind of like Leonard from Big Bang Theory.
It's not that far off. So I dressed up as Weird Al for my cousin's birthday. He had a 80s themed birthday, and so I dressed up as Weird Al, got a costume. I have that costume in my closet now. I've got Han Solo. I've got a few. But one of the things that I am doing with my videos moving forward is this element of like transporting yourself into the world of whatever property that we're working on. And so I'm like, well, since my next official video is going to be Garytown, what I built for Jess, I want to transport ourselves into the world of Legend of Zelda. So why not get a costume? I just wanted an excuse to dress up and be silly on my videos now. I'm like, I just make it fun. And so yeah, I got this Legend of Zelda costume. I got the shield backpack. I got the sword. Like, I got the whole getup. And it's an excuse to use it until I use it for my video.
You just couldn't wait to share the link, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You can use that.
Thank you.
I could picture just the setup. Well, you've already kind of established a setup, but the idea of almost like a dual personality of editing.
Yeah.
And then your conscious coming in and kind of distracting or doing whatever.
You could be like the tingle on your shoulder, like your editing shoulder. Like you could do like the angel and the devil thing, like Looney Tunes. I always love that gag that they don't really use a whole lot anymore. But you could do
now
something.
Be a Zelda Ninjago.
yeah, Zelda Ninjago. My split personality right there.
Yep. We didn't really have this topic that well thought out.
We didn't. It's okay. Have you guys been geeking out about anything? Not that we're gonna finish the podcast off, but we can do stuff out of order.
Well, this could be a precursor. How about this? Let's
do it.
take some time. I want to hear about funny stories from your life and your experience and things like that. I have a couple that in my own head I think are funny. Maybe in retelling them we can, prove otherwise. But let's take some time to write it down, flesh it out, rather than being on the spot. So we can talk about this later.
I feel like I'm on the spot to write it down.
We'll remind each other on Discord.
Okay.
Yeah. The hardest time I have is trying to figure out stories that are appropriate to tell to a family-friendly audience.
That many, huh?
Enough. I mean, those are the ones that come to mind first. Or talk about how I almost died rollerblading one time.
And that's a funny story?
Is this before or after you lost your leg?
Oh, this is in high school. I was
Okay.
like 16, 17, yeah. Not related. Not related.
Okay,
to
I
my leg.
mean, I don't know,
Yep.
That could make it funnier. I don't know.
It has funny aspects to it, but I don't know if it's overall funny.
So yeah, think about it. Dwell on it. Ponder it. We'll come back to it.
We'll add it to the blog.
Yes. So, Sean, you've seen Ant-Man, yes?
Yes.
I saw Ant-Man as well. Donovan did not see Ant-Man, so he cannot speak.
Should that? Well, I mean, I was going to, but then Texas and busy.
Right.
Should I see it? Should that be my homework? Go see Ant-Man?
I don't know if "should" is the right word.
My wife.
I mean, because this
Couldn't wait for it
is
to be over.
officially the first movie of Phase 5, correct?
I don't know. I'm lost.
I don't know
in
how they're
those
counting
phases,
anymore.
Honestly, what? I don't know. What was Phase 4? I don't know. It wasn't even clear. What did that end with?
Miss Marvel,
What?
right?
That's not even a movie, though.
Right? What did it end
Captain-
off with?
Captain Marvel?
No, I don't. The phases.
Well,
have no
because
meaning
Phase
to me
4
anymore.
was all of the TV and the setup of the new
Oh.
Avengers, and She-Hulk and Miss Marvel, and
I didn't realize that.
yeah, that was Phase 4.
I mean, either way, I mean, Ant-Man is, I mean, it was a movie.
Sold. It was a movie.
It had stuff that happened. Supposedly.
It I like to. So my wife was sitting beside me. She apparently couldn't stand it from the beginning and was just waiting for it to end. I enjoyed it a lot until a certain point. Then I got really excited, and then I got the opposite of really excited within like 5 seconds after a reveal. And then like I want to like it. Like I don't know. I'm like fighting myself over it because I don't feel like it was as bad as Eternals. Like Eternals, I just don't want to watch again. I didn't really get any pleasure out of that movie at all. This one has some funny setups and jokes, I think, and I don't feel it was Thor 4 level. Like for that one, they tried too hard for the jokes to land. I felt, and like the Taika Waititi shtick is kind of, I'm over that now. But this one didn't quite feel as needy and as
Whippy.
pathetic. Yeah, I don't know. I liked it more than Thor 4. But I don't feel like any of the characters like grew. Besides the physical growing of Ant-Man, that he literally, grows sizes. That's the only part that grows. Like he doesn't literally get it. I don't feel like he like grew as a character at all or learned anything. And he's almost like an Inspector Gadgety kind of character now to me, in that he's almost like a hero by accident, and like the people around him are actually the heroes. I don't know if it's intended to be that way. Have Brain and Penny doing all the work when he's like getting all the credit. It's not quite that bad, but there was stuff I'm like, well, There's things that didn't really make sense, and I don't know. I might need to watch it again, but it won't be for a while. Not to dissuade anybody, but
The I think that the very first trailer that came out that played Yellow Brick Road by Elton John, I think that that trailer should have been the movie, and that's it. I mean,
at that length,
I mean, I'm exaggerating slightly. But the emotional content of that trailer was better than the movie as an entirety.
I'm gonna have to watch that one again. I don't remember.
I think Marvel dropped the ball again in terms of the emotional content and what was at stake and sacrifice that really should have happened in a lot of ways. And I don't know why they keep doing that. But with all that being said, I think that creating a movie with the title Quantumania is a near impossible task. And I think it's the same thing with like the Multiverse of Madness. There was not a lot of madness. There's not a lot of
90
mania.
seconds of
But there's not a lot of mania. Because if you've looked at or read about quantum mechanics at all, I was expecting more of that. And there was one scene that dealt with it, and that's it. And I was a little bit perplexed by that. Otherwise, it might as well have been another planet. It didn't matter that they were of, quantum size. But
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I agree with that.
anyways.
Well, you piqued my curiosity, so probably gonna have to.
I mean, it's not all bad, but we have so much stuff to compare it to.
Yeah,
That nothing's ever going to get a fair shake again.
that's fair. Yeah, I agree.
I think it's kind of why I'm looking forward to the DC stuff so much.
Yeah, like a clean slate-ish kind of thing.
Yeah, and that'll relate to my geeking out for today when we get to that point talking about it.
Well, why don't you do that since
Do it.
we're at that point?
Yeah, I think we're getting close anyways. My geeking out is actually kind of a weird one in a small way. I'm geeking out about Zack Snyder's Justice League, his cut of the movie. I think after all the DC announcements, I gave it another shot and watched it, and I enjoyed it a lot more second time around. It's still not without fault. It's still not the best movie it probably could have been, but I liked it a lot better than the first viewing. Even with it being 4 hours long, and I watched it in two sittings, which also kind of helped. The slow beats of the film, and I actually sat and just watched it and let myself kind of enjoy it, and I thought it was all right. Like I said, still not great, but I guess after the last couple of Marvel movies, that movie is kind of like
threshold.
rising, and the threshold's rising. So if you have a chance, go back and watch it again. Just kind of enjoy it and don't expect too much from it. I think it might be surprised.
Well, with the 18 hours of driving I've done this week, I've been listening to audiobooks, and one book that I've been listening to in particular is the autobiography of of Jim Henson by Brian Jones. It is great. It's great. I love Jim Henson. Anything Muppets. Like, just love it, and it's cool to hear. I mean, because over the years, I've seen a lot of documentaries, all kind of stuff. There's a lot about his life that I knew, but this goes into like a lot of stuff about his life, and it's very cool to like kind of get that behind the scenes, peek at something that you enjoy. It's like watching the extra behind the scenes to the Lord of the Rings. It just adds that much more depth to something you already enjoy. So that's what I've been geeking out about. The autobiography of autobiography of Jim Henson by Brian Jones.
Let's see, myself, I'm geeking out about a game release that I've been waiting for at least 4 years, maybe more. My interest level isn't as high as I hoped it would be right now, just because it's not the full game. But Kerbal Space Program 2 comes out tomorrow. And they had like they had a preview event with a lot of media personalities and like YouTubers and things that are in that space. And they're like they got to record like 3 hours worth of gameplay on their own. Like each person had their own computer set up. And there's a lot of cool stuff that game will be able to do. It's early access on Steam. It's kind of expensive. It's like $50, which is kind of pricey for an early access game. But they're trying to be transparent about like development process and be more like inclusive with the community and fans of like as far as like what things to include. And the original Kerbal was actually kind of like that as well. I think it was called Steam Greenlight. I don't know if it's called that anymore, but they were like one of the first games to do that on that platform back when early access wasn't even a thing. And so it seemed appropriate in a way that Kerbal 2 continue that tradition. And eventually they're going to have multiplayer. It's not there yet, but the stuff they're showing so far looks pretty inspiring, pretty awesome. And I'm going to install that as soon as I can tomorrow. I've got a Twitch stream theme that I'm going to use that I've used in the past, but I'm sort of making sure it works to kind of use it again tomorrow, and I'm just going to play that thing for a couple hours. So by the time you hear this podcast, I will have already done the Twitch stream yesterday, but that's okay. Check the replay or download it or check out some videos if you like space stuff. It's pretty neat.
How much did you say it was? $70?
It's gonna be $50.
Oh, $50.
$50.
Okay. That considering the fact that I bought into Star Citizen several years ago, and the base of that was like $120. I look at $50. I'm like,
right.
Yeah, $50 is okay.
For a game that I've been waiting that long for, I'd pay double that, honestly. If they're able to pull off half the stuff that they're trying to do. Eventually they're going to have like different star systems that you can travel to and multiplayer with different launch pads, and you can do like space races supposedly, and you can like colonize other worlds with other friends, and there's all kinds of crazy stuff that you're going to be able to do, and I'm looking forward to it.
You don't name one of them McQuack, I'm going to be so disappointed.
They even got behind the scenes access to a NASA launch. There's like a development blog, video blog or whatever, vlog on their channel about it, where they invited them in. They had set up like 9 or 20 or an obnoxious number of like microphones at different distances from an actual rocket launch, and recorded it to source actual rocket sounds for the game. And so it's like super authentic, and the music, from what I've heard so far, is pretty amazing. Nice ambient, like inspiring music, and I don't know. I'm really excited about it. So check it out, Kerbal Space Program 2. If you don't have the first one, get it. It's really good if you like space stuff. And speaking of things that are really good, our patrons over at patreon.com/makinggeeks, they're awesome. They help us keep the show afloat with their financial contributions every time we release an episode. We appreciate each and every one of them, including our top patrons, Jordan, Nolan, Square Splinter, and Clinton. You guys are great. Thank you so much.
A few of whom we're probably going to see at Maker Camp.
Ooh.
Yeah. But until that time, if you want to see all the stuff that we're working on or are up to, or whatever latest prompt for Chat GPT may have come across our funny bone, you can follow us. If you want to see the stuff that Wes is doing, you can find him at Geeksmithing. If you want to see the stuff that Sean is doing, you can find him at Geek Builders. And the stuff that I'm doing, you can either find me at Baba Makes or Once Upon a Workbench.
And you can find out more information about the podcast on makinggeeks.com. We have a contact page where you could write in some suggestions and topics for the show, or any other show-related questions or information you want to put there. You can also listen to all of our past episodes right there on the homepage, and we have a store with some Making Geeks themed merchandise for you to peruse, pick up, and possibly bring into your home. We'd like to thank everybody for hanging out in the live chat with us. We record every Thursday evening, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, and 6:30 Pacific. It always makes the show a little bit more enjoyable, seeing the live conversation going on while we record. So if you'd like to be part of that group, it's on YouTube every Thursday evening. So go ahead and check that out. And you can find new episodes of the podcast on your favorite podcast player of choice every Saturday morning. And I think that's about it from us this week. So take care, stay dry, stay safe, stay warm or cool, depending on where you are in the country. Weather's all over the place. And we'll see you next week.
See y'all.
See you. Are you getting sick? Allergies?
Oh,
Weather?
No, I have a cold. I have a head cold. It's my first cold in 3 years.